Coherent earnings, and I think we gave a little bit of an introduction last time. I mean, we got interested in this company for two reasons. First of all, any company that's engaged in the AI trade and driving AI forward is interesting to us, but also Jim Anderson, right? Jim goes to stuff with growth, right? He went from AMD when it was on a rocket ship. He went into Lattice, created that into a rocket ship, and here we are at Coherent. And by the way, if you haven't checked the stock, it's a rocket ship at this point. But so I want to talk about Coherent in context of AI, right? Essentially, what they do is the lasers and laser solutions,
laser beams,
that are related to silicon photonics that transports a ton of that data over networks, both short haul and long haul. Long haul is between data centers. Short haul is inside of the data center. NVIDIA is a big customer. Big hyperscalers are customers, and they don't just sell the chips, they sell the entire enclosure, and literally down to a chassis that has hundreds of silicon photonics links in it. And they saw 89% growth for 400G and 800G transceivers. And it wasn't just revenue. They saw gross margin enhancements there. Industrial was down. And in the call, Jim talked about exploring divestitures of non-strategic assets to focus on high growth rates like datacom. By the way, I think you and I have had this conversation. I don't think communications is the way to talk about this. This is high-speed data networking.
Yep.
In case anybody was wondering in that. And I think there's a capital markets day for them coming up, and I'm looking forward to Jim and the new leadership team. Sherry Luther is new CFO. She came from Lattice. I'm interested to see what the leadership team brings out.
Yeah, you start to wonder about that domino, Pat. But yeah, it's good coverage there. I mean, my big takeaway is big player in silicon photonics. I think you and I are both trying to kind of coach along the criticality, is that a word? Criticality of kind of terming data communications and networking is what it is, but the moving data at the speed of light for AI is a huge opportunity. This company makes modules that others use, and they make, they obviously make them themselves, directly and sell them. They've got some of the biggest companies as customers in the world. This is, you kind of look at the picks and shovels narrative. Well, this is one of them that's providing parts to companies. They won't probably say it, but I'll say companies like NVIDIA, companies like Broadcom are buying stuff from Coherent. Under the new leadership, it seems they're doing well. I like how they've gotten back to sort of displaying their growth. He definitely got in on the growth, 28% up, 300 bips of margin expansion. And by the way, this has been one where a lot of kind of companies that aren't core to AI just haven't been able to do.
Yeah.
Coherent is doing it. And by the way, he increased EPS by 357%. So this isn't necessarily Jim. I mean, he just got there. This was momentum, but he's certainly getting back to making sure the right numbers are getting reported out there. So this company's strong, Pat. I mean, it's a really interesting one. It's one that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it probably should, as one of those peripheral AI plays that has some significant upside.